I've been seeing a lot of content and a lot of videos surrounding money schemes regarding prophetic people, and y'all know I talk a lot about money on my channel, but I want to also talk about this time that I was kind of convinced into, and I say convinced loosely, but convinced into joining a multi-level marketing scheme before I knew what a multi-level marketing scheme was, by a prophet. So let me just introduce myself. I'm Dr. Brianna Whiteside. I talk about the kingdom on this channel, but I also talk a lot about money and my journey with money and things of that nature. And so I want to kind of give voice to some of the things that I am seeing, and also let you all know that every person who has a platform and says that they are prophetic or a prophet is not honorable with money. And oftentimes, not even say often, I want to be fair, sometimes, right, if the shoe fits, wear it, they leverage your trust for money. I'm gonna say it again. They leverage your trust for money. So before I get into my experience, I want to tell you by definition what is a multi-level marketing scheme. A business model where individuals sell products or services and earn money not only from their own sales, but also by recruiting others to join the business. These recruits become part of their downline, and the original seller earns a percentage of their sales as well. This structure continues through multiple levels of recruitment, hence the name multi-level. And this is how it works. You join as a distributor or consultant or representative. You sell the company's product or service. You recruit others to sell that product or service. You earn commissions from your sales and from the sales of the people you recruit, your downline. And if you want to be able to identify some MLM schemes, here are some key characteristics. Number one, there is a heavy emphasis on recruiting over selling actual products. Number two, it promises financial freedom or passive income. Number three, it often involves upfront costs. And number four, earnings are highly unequal as most participants earn little or even lose money. Now, let me set the stage for you. It's 2020. Where I am in my financial journey is 2019. I had finally got out of that consumer debt in 8 months. I was then on a journey to save $10,000, right? You know, I've always been part of prophetic communities, but just not in the in crowd. You know what I'm saying? So I've always followed certain leaders. I've always, you know, listened to certain things, and I've always run alongside the circle. So I know a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't know. And I am learning about money, and I'm trying to learn more about saving, growing money, all of these things. So I am positioning myself to learn from more financial content. Well, this particular leader who I was following online was, you know, starting to flash money, talk about how, you know, they've done this business venture and they're getting all this money, and like they're doing it at the height of the pandemic, right? So of course people are like in fear, struggling. They're like, I need to be a part of this thing. But for me, I'm like, I want to learn more. Like, if you are able to gross this amount of money, I want to understand what it is that you're doing. And so I DM this prophet and says, hey, what you're doing, I want a part of it. Like, can you tell me what's going on here? And so this prophet sends me a video of something. It wasn't a lot of information in the video. He just says, hey, here's this video from my business partner. Let me know if you're interested. So it wasn't a direct explanation of what it was he was doing, but he sent me an informational video. And I'm like, okay, this is vague information. And you know, if anything is that vague in the front, be careful with that. I wasn't thinking that way because I was like, okay, this is a leader. You know, this is before I knew a lot of behind the scenes stuff, y'all. So I'm like, this is a leader. You know, he should be, you know, a man of God. This is somebody who's integral. So I'm like, yeah, like, okay, I can trust him. I want to do it because he's promoting this thing, right? And so he's like, okay. So when I watch it, I'm like, yeah, I want to do it. And then he's like, okay, great, and sends me a link. So you sign up for this program. I'm not gonna say the program. You pay like $350 a month. Mind y'all, I'm trying to get my money together, right? And it kind of says that it will teach you certain things. So for $350 a month, ultimately, I think you're supposed to stay in this thing for 6 months. I did not. I got out at month like 3, the beginning of month 3. But I was like, okay, this, if he's doing it, in my mind, I'm like, if he's doing it and promoting it, then it must be legit. I had no idea about multi-level marketing schemes. I didn't even know what MLM was because I'm new to money. I knew what a Ponzi scheme was, but I did not equate those two things together. So I enroll in this academy, and mind y'all, not only am I doing it, there are people who I'm close to doing it. There are people in his church doing it, and then they're doing the recruiting too. Like, it was so much, but this person, this prophet, he didn't know the stuff. He didn't know, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say he never was able to tell me about the information, right? So it's like, you get enrolled in under me and I get a percentage of you being enrolled, and so on and so forth and so forth. So he was not participating in the information. He was just responsible for getting people to come into this academy. But in my mind, I didn't know that at first. At that time, I didn't know that until after the effect, and I started talking to other people, and they were like, yeah, you know, when I reached out and asked him for some clarification, he wasn't able to tell me the information I needed. So that's all I needed to know. Like, yeah, no, I need to get up out of here. And so I was just like, right? Because he had become very, very, like, the money that he was showing on his social media as a result of being in this MLM scheme, it made you think that he was actually putting the information to work, but he wasn't. You were the work. Like, you were the work for him. Like, all he needed to get you to do is enroll, and it was enriching his pockets, right? And so it was just like, and then like when I was always wondering, like, why can't I get with this certain mentor that's in this academy? Like, there's something about this mentor, and this is before I knew about New Age spiritualism, law of attraction and stuff like that. Like, I knew about certain African spirituality and certain principles from academia, but I wasn't able to put the two together because I just wasn't even looking for the information. I wasn't even looking to synthesize. And so it was this one person, and I don't want to say this man's name because I don't want to give him no clout, but this one mentor, white man, I was like, it's something about him I can't get with. But these people were like basically praising this man. He's the greatest. He's amazing. This man, and I'm thinking to myself like, nah, something ain't right here. And now I know the something ain't right was that he was practicing law of attraction. And these people, this program was propping him up as a face of this thing, so more people will come in, more people come in. So you have this prophet who is part of this multi-level marketing scheme, also indirectly promoting this law of attraction man and bringing his flock into agreement with this system. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And what I learned from that experience, of course, it was on me to do my due diligence. This is why I'm not naming the prophet. I have no desire to air him out or nothing, or the organization. This is where my due diligence should have come in, right? I should have been a little bit more diligent with my trust. I should have been a little bit more diligent understanding what this actually was. When I got out of it, and I'm just like, okay, well, I learned something that was transferable because I'm a researcher, right? And so if I was just trying to just take that blanket knowledge and just kind of think that I'm going to make this money as if this prophet was portraying on the internet, I would have been in trouble. I would have just wasted the money. I would have wasted the money that I invested every month. But because I was like, okay, well, this skill could probably transfer here, and I can do these things, like I was getting creative, it worked out for me. But I just think about so many people who it did not work out for. I just think about so many people who put their trust in men and women of God and who are well-meaning, only to be duped, only to be manipulated, only to be just not treated fairly or not told the full truth, right? And, you know, I say this to say, y'all, everyone is not integral, especially as it surrounds money. People are able to leverage their platforms and your trust for money. And this is not everybody, because I do believe in the prophetic community. I do believe in prophets. I do believe in these people, but I'm saying not everyone is integral. And I need everyone to wake up and not be naive in that way to say, oh, he's a man of God. How could he? What's the first word you just said? He's a man. Sometimes it does not matter if you're a man of God or not, because we see people just falling from grace left and right. right? And you have believed a public persona because they presented something to you and they've captured you in a certain way, but you don't know the private things that they claim to do, or you don't know when people say, I don't take money from the church, but you don't realize that sometimes those giving QR codes are sometimes attached to phone numbers that are not associated with the church's account. It may be associated with a different account, and that different account is their personal account. So they can say, I'm not taking money from the church. They could say that technically, but they still taking money from the church. That's all I'm saying, y'all. I'm saying that there is more than one way to skin a cat. There's ways to get around telling the truth, and people use leverage. They leverage all the things all the time. And I don't want you to be a victim, because you may not be able to recover as quickly as I recovered, or you may not be able to, you know, bounce back, or, you know, just, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Because the thing that's in my mind is, I was watching someone's testimony on YouTube a few weeks ago when they said that they had enrolled in someone's course, and this is a different prophet, said that, not even a course, I don't know if it was a course or a program, but this prophet told them that they were going to walk them through the process of, if I say the term, you'll know who I'm talking about, but they're going to walk them through this process of building their own personal wealth. That's what I'll say. And these people are saying in this testimony that they didn't learn anything, but they've paid upwards of $10,000. Somebody invested their life savings of $30,000, and now they're threatening homelessness. People have tried to unalive themselves surrounding this because they've invested in the man of God and believing that this man of God was going to get them to this place, only to realize it was all a scheme in the name of God. So they use the name of God to leverage trust from you, to therefore get you to enroll in their course for multiple thousands of dollars that enriches their pocket. And then they can turn around and say, look what God did for me. Did God do it for you, or did you do it for you? Did God do it for you, or did you scheme and scam people out their money when they need their money, especially in times of recession? You see what I'm saying here? And what y'all seeing come up out of me is justice. I do not like injustice. I do not like people who are lying, especially as it relates to money tricks in the body of Christ. I don't like it. I've never liked it, and I will stand for the truth. I will stand for you. And so I want you to understand that I'm not saying everyone is doing this, but I'm saying there are people who are doing it. And you need to keep your eye out, and you need to be discerning, and you need to be aware, because everyone who says give, everyone who says they're doing something that got them this, they not. They not. Just like the prophet who, you know, I enrolled in this multi-level marketing scheme under. The way it was presented was that he was learning this information, and using this information, he was learning to create wealth. What came out later was that he knew nothing about the information. He was making all of his money from the bodies that enrolled under him because he had the trust of the people. Okay? That's all I'm saying. There is a lot of things that people don't know that go on behind the scenes that hurt well-meaning people, and it's just not okay. So y'all be careful with this, especially now. This is becoming very reminiscent of 2020. Which means that there's going to be some money games. And I want y'all to be careful and be aware, okay? So I just wanted to kind of tell y'all, like, yeah, I was part of a multi-level marketing scene. And a prophet kind of, you know, made it popular. But what I'm grateful is that I was able to learn something, and I was able to use that thing, not even in the same way of that program, but I was able to use a minor skill that was transferred into me building my own wealthy economy. So just know that some of them are not above it. Just know that someone who has the trust of the people can also have the pockets of the people. Just know that everyone does not have your best interest in mind. That's all I'm saying. You gotta go to the Holy Spirit and ask him to reveal who you should trust in this season and who you should not. But I want you to know that there are people out here. There are people out here who are only in it for self and have given themselves over to something that's unclean and that's not right. That's all I got. If this video has struck a nerve, leave me a comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave me a like, and check the description for any resources you may need. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.